I'm Janice Wong. I'm 33 this year and I run a 2 a.m. dessert bar. It's about 9 years now in Singapore, and we just opened in Tokyo 2 months ago called Janice Wong Dessert Bar, as well as in Hong Kong, a full-fledged restaurant that's about 3,500 square feet. And it's called Kobo House. So I started out studying in NUS finance. I did economics, and then I went for an exchange in Melbourne. I also did economics, and I really wanted to follow my dad's footsteps, just to go into banking and finance. But I felt there is so much joy when I look at ingredients, when I look at food, and I mean, everybody loves eating. It's just to how much the extent is that you want to be part of this food culture. I felt very inclined to be a curator of food. When I picked up the fresh strawberries and I tasted the earth in the strawberries, I was like, this is amazing. This is not what we get in the markets of Singapore. And so hence I thought of myself as a curator. Being a curator for me is to take fresh ingredients and give the customers the best experience. Whether you're eating from the wall or the ceiling or a plate, it is still an amazing experience I want to give. So there is no boundary with what I would do with a mushroom. There's no boundary with what I would do with chocolate as well. So I started out thinking, okay, I need to go into culinary school. And I went into Cordon Bleu in Paris. I think my dad was, of course, very supportive of me doing finance. He did warn me that, being a chef, it's long hours. You starting pay is like 1,300, even 1,200. It is real, and it's still real right now. Starting pay is very low and hours are long. So it really depends how much you want this. And I was not deterred by that factor. I felt that, the long hours, there's going to be long hours in every business that you do, every discipline, whether you're an architect, whether you're an artist or a designer, there's bound to be long hours of work if you push yourself hard enough. Whether the low pay is a deterrent factor, I think that you have to also think about it as how far you want to push yourself as well, how far you want to rise up. I had to really be very careful and mindful of my decision because I was not that young as well. There are people in the kitchen that start at the age of 14, and I started at the age of 21. So I think that was a big factor in my decision. Expansion is for sure one of the biggest challenges because you have to expand, yet you have to also be very mindful of your expansion. I don't really think of it as a struggle. I'm a pretty happy person, positive all the time, and I impart that positivity into my team as well. So not so much on the struggles ahead, but I do foresee in the future, of course, sustainability. Business sustainability is one big key. How can a cafe sustain? Your rising rents, you have rising labor costs, and your percentage of profits are gonna be less and less as time goes on. And how do you think different and break out of that area? And I feel that that is one challenge for sure across the country, across Asia. After 3 years of opening, I felt that I could have taken on a lot of franchises. We had franchise options from Indonesia, China, for example, Shanghai. And I think that was a very good decision. Of course, it was very difficult. Of course, opening up franchises, having to expand your business is great. It's great news. It's great to the public eye that you are expanding. But I felt that when I opened 2 a.m. Dessert Bar at the age of 24, the first thing I wanted to do was just to build a brand. And to build a brand, sometimes you have to be patient. And we finally did it. I mean, we are still building the brand, and I'm learning a lot from my Japanese partners there. How to build a brand. We're putting my name on the brand, Janice Wong. Having a woman pastry chef as a brand in Japan is almost unheard of. You have all the top patissiers, they're all male. I remember working in Melbourne, and there were like 20 chefs, 20 male chefs, and one female. And they were all drinking beers at the end of the night. It was something I had to be comfortable with. It wasn't something I had to keep trying that hard. I just had to accept the fact that there's gonna be definitely more male in the kitchen than female worldwide, and we just gotta do our best. So financially, what I did was I put all my resources back into a lab where I just churn out creativity, where I could, really push the boundaries, do the art, create desserts that have no references. So I've been an advocate of desserts with no reference. This year I'm going to Spain, and Harold McGee, who is one of the godfathers of the science of cooking. He put our name down, for a movement by Mugaritz, a Spanish restaurant who does amazing cuisine and very progressive, and they have a lab. So they invited myself and Heston Blumenthal to go to Spain, and 4 days of creativity. And I'm a girl from Singapore. And then when you get picked out by Harold McGee and Heston Blumenthal, you think, okay, these chefs are amazing because they have really pushed, really the boundary of what food is. They're making changes, and so are we here in this tiny little island of Singapore. And for 4 days, we're just going to be thinking. We're going to be thinking, we're going to be sharing, and then for me to bring all that back here and to work on these new ideas. It was one of the movements I decided to make, to put everything back into research. It's so important. If not, how can you be moving forward if you don't put back money, resources into research? I'm always learning. I'm always learning new skills. I just took up another coffee course upstairs. Better Barista is upstairs, and I'm learning coffee. I'm learning, when I was in Japan, I was learning pottery. I was learning just different skill sets, and I love learning. So I'm thankful I have an outlet in Japan, which is doing really, really well because they have a completely different sweets culture. And I'm taking all these unique ingredients. Now this time is summer season, so we have Miyazaki mango, with Shizuoka melon. I'm using konnyaku. And then again, ume from Gunma Prefecture. So learning all the different ingredients from different prefectures, and then finding out how they're made. So I wanted to learn how konnyaku was made, and even the Japanese are even surprised that I want to learn so much about their own food. And I would spend 1 week in the farms, and I would create the books. Curiosity is something that I have in my personality, and I never stop. I hope the advice to other women out there, sometimes if you're doing something you're not very comfortable with, but you dare to take the risk, the rewards are very rewarding. I think the main asset that a woman has is not just the being, but it's really up in the mind. What you really want. It's about what you think that you want to be, and you go ahead and be it. So it's always about the courage. I feel you can have an idea, and to have the courage to actually move forward and do it, that for me is very important.